This is the only one of the 2-year-old crown races last year where the top 3 came back this year and they're all in here. Darlin's Delight, My Little Dragon, Caviar, Sydney. Now, you want consistency? How about Darlin's Delight? 602,000 last year, 602,000 this year. And she's doing it against not only the best in New York, but also the best on the national scale. Now, My Little Dragon, though, she won last year. She was the only undefeated divisional titleist last year. So we'll see if that can, deja vu, she can win 2 in a row. It's been 13 years since a filly has won the pacing crown at 2 and 3, Immortality. We'll see if she can do it.
There's not much money separating the top 2 in terms of lifetime earnings here. Darlin's Delight gets the edge with $1,205,000, and over $1 million though is My Little Dragon, the number 5. And yes, indeed, we have seen just a slight switch in the odds as the 5. My Little Dragon is now just an ever so slight 2-1 favorite. This could seesaw right up to the race. As we check horses leaving the paddock right now, there are a number of horses here at into the double digits, but third choice of the bettors, Mommy Robin Q for trainer Casey Coleman. Now, Casey is certainly a big player on our local circuit. She's the leading trainer in Canada in terms of races won and winning in purses, but she's primarily known as a claiming trainer, or at least condition horses. But in Mommy Robin Q, a 3-year-old Western ideal filly that has been given to her from trainer John Swick.
And I asked Casey Coleman that question when I was here in September. Are you going to be going to the sales, be more of a presence with the 2- and 3-year-old stakes? She said this year she's doing it. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot more work to do with claimers. There's many more variables. And she's one of 7 female trainers on the card tonight. 6 of them looking for their first win. Linda Toscano's already won when Molly can't do it. And Mark McDonald also looking for his first crown win. Looking for his first crown and jug in the same year. That'd be a nice combo there. And 2 of the dams in this race themselves won Breeders' Crown races. Town Pro, the dam of Darlin's Delight, number 3, she won twice in 89 and 90. And Galleria, the dam of number 8, Western Galley, won it back in 1998 at Colonial.
If you're wondering about eliminations for this field, well, there were none. They weren't required. The 10 horses that were entered go straight to the gate. We'll start it off with Mommy Robin Q. She's the rail starter in the field. Casey Coleman training. This one driven tonight by Mark McDonald. And there's the favorite, or the number 10-1 shot. The number 2 in the field, I should say, is Bow Wow Wine. One of the handicappers for the U.S. Trotting Association online, Jerry Connors, has gone way out on a limb in picking this one to win. So, although we can't get his reasoning, just don't write off Bow Wow Wine just yet. Ryan Anderson drives in there at 9-5. Bob, the current favorite, Darlin's Delight.
And Bettor's Delight's having a huge year. Last year, a lot of questions about Bettor's Delight. This was really the only real top horse he had was Darlin's Delight. This year, if everything falls into place tonight, he could be leading in 2-year-old and 3-year-old earnings.
Number 4 in the field, Caviar Sydney, raced in the Breeders' Crown last year, and in fact, she finished 3rd, but the 2 that beat her are in this race, and they're the current 2 favorites in the field. Let's get to one of them right now. The number 5 horse, My Little Dragon, a Noel Daly pupil, has $1 million earned lifetime, $595,000 of it coming this year. Driver on this one, Brian Sears, the number 5, My Little Dragon. There's a look at 6. We need no introduction for the fella in the sulky. It's Mike Lachance. We've seen him in the winner's circle 2 times tonight. He is the number 2 winning driver in the history of the Breeders' Crown. 7 in the field, Eternity's Delight at 12-1. Scoots up the inside there, driven tonight by David Miller. He's seen lots of action. This one, trained by Travis Alexander, as is the number 8. Alexander having 2 starters in the field. There's Western Galley. He's pegged local driver Jody Jameson to pilot this one, a whopping 33-1. Similar price on Bolero Toki, the number 9 horse in the field. This one is Quebec-owned, trained by Daniel Martin. He'll also do the driving. And to complete the field at 11-1, trained by Irv Miller, driven tonight by George Brennan. One of the warm-ups here for George Brennan as he has his biggest test to date. Coming up later on in the program, he'll get a steer with Arts Temptress, having to overcome post 10 at 11-1.
Welcome back inside the paddock at Woodbine Racetrack, and in behind me, Cold Hearted Revenge, a horse that is going to be competing later tonight, not in the Breeders' Crowns, but he's an old claimer that has won 2 in a row, and he's watching on the sidelines at this point in time. Up next, as we continue with our Breeders' Crown Championships, the 3-year-old filly pace final. One of the drivers competing is Ryan Anderson at age 26. He's already a big part of Breeders' Crown history. Back in 2000, at the age of 20, he became the youngest driver ever to capture a Breeders' Crown title. Earlier this week, we caught up with Ryan and asked him to relive the moment he calls the highlight of his racing career.
It was very intimidating. I was going against the best drivers in the country, and you had to be in the top 2 at the time. And she made the final, and then in the final, you guys had me all mic'd up and everything, and I was real nervous, and it was all just a shock. I had the 6 hole and I left, and actually down the backside I had let John Campbell go, sat the 2 hole, and the guy first up that come, it was Remelette Hanover. They started battling down the lane there, and Ledford was done, and it actually opened up, and she beat Musical Dreamer, I think, at the wire.
The 3/4 and Popcorn Penny pulls out of the pocket, splits fillies. Ryan Anderson has one more to contend with. Musical Dreamer is coming through. Popcorn Penny makes Ryan Anderson the youngest driver ever to win a Breeders' Crown.
It was just absolutely huge for the owner, especially for my dad. You know, training that horse and having me drive it was just probably the biggest thrill for him. It was just amazing. It was just a shock. I hope it happens again to me. Like they say, it all comes down to the Breeders' Crown, and that is the biggest race I've ever won.
2 minutes to the 3-year-old filly Pacers. They're on the track. Here's how we see race number 7 unfolding. As may expect, many of us checking in with what is currently the second favorite of the race. 3 of us headed to Darlin's Delight, but Renee Kieran's has pegged the 3-2 favorite, number 5, My Little Dragon, as her pick. You certainly couldn't ask for better connections than that filly, Arts Temptress. She's an Arts Place, one of the top sires in the Crown. Her trainer, Irv Miller, was Trainer of the Year last year, and she comes from Brittany Farms, one of the leading owners in the Breeders' Crown. Irv Miller's assistant trainer, Tony Alanya, standing by with Renee Kieran's.
Yeah, we couldn't get Mr. Miller himself, but we definitely got the next best thing. Tony, you know, it's been a rough week for your barn. Last week in the Elims, one horse didn't even make it in because of a Lasix issue, and Shark's Jester, who races later on tonight, was part of that incident where John Campbell got hurt.
Yeah, it was a rough weekend. Hopefully we can put it all behind us and kind of go forward. If you look at the situation, I mean, you know, John Campbell gets hurt, breaks his leg, misses the whole night. Dwayne Marfisi had to put his horse down, so, you know, you got to look at on the bright side of things. At least our horse is okay and he's here tonight. So.
And how has he been through the week? That can be a little bit of a traumatic experience for a horse.
He seemed fine all week. We came in Sunday morning and he was bright. He ate everything, no stiffness. So, I mean, we've just proceeded, you know, a little bit carefully, but everything's been good. He's trained good this week and doesn't act any worse for wear. I mean, until you put him in a field of horses, we won't know, but he seems fine.
And this horse that you have here on the board right now, a 10-1 Arts Temptress with George Brennan in the bike, only 3 wins, but has managed to rack up over $300,000 career earnings. So doing it the hard way and picking up checks along the way.
Yeah, we've had her about 6-7 starts now, and you'll be hard pressed to find a filly that tries as hard as she does. I mean, she's definitely an overachiever. She went a tremendous heat, and the Courageous Lady put 3 fillies away, and another one just nailed her at the wire. So we're looking for a good effort tonight.
Good luck, Tony.
Thank you.
So, Ron, the gates are on the move, and lots of horses in the mix here, but right now choice is Darling's Delight.
Yeah, she's going to be tough to beat. She's a great filly last year. She's just as great this year. She's going to be very difficult to beat.
Kenny, it's all up to you.
All right, they're on the gate for tonight's 7th race. 3-year-old fillies in behind the gate for their Breeders' Crown final. The Pacers pick up speed. And they're off, and first one off the wings from down the center, leaving out is My Little Dragon. Breaker at the rail, Mummy Robin Q is off stride. Now to the outside, showing some early speed is Western Galley. Jameson sends Western Galley at the lead. Brennan trying to overcome post position number 10 right off the wings of the gate. And he's going to put Arts Temptress into a great spot in the early going. Arts Temptress on the lead as they move into the first turn. So backed up in a second now, it's Western Galley just off the speed back there. Third is Darlin's Delight. In behind that one, racing along from in fourth is My Little Dragon. And it's Bow Wow Wine from in sixth now. Taking over fifth on the outside, Bolero Toki. In the opening quarter is 28 2/5. And the trailers in the field as they make their way up the backstretch now. Caviar Sydney is 7th. Grandiose Gal from an 8th. Eternity's Delight has one beaten. That's the Breaker, Mummy Robin Q. And up the backstretch, Yannick Gingras has given Darlin's Delight her cue. She pops to the outside and clears off the lead. To back in second now, it's Arts Temptress. Half mile coming up next. And on the lead, it's Darlin's Delight. She's there in 56 2. Back in second is Arts Temptress, rating in the pocket. Sitting at the inside from in third at long odds is Western Galley, sent to the outside now from in fourth, and on the attack goes My Little Dragon. My Little Dragon moving up into third with just 3/8 of a mile to go. Gingras looks over the right shoulder and he sees My Little Dragon breathing fire on the outside. She's second and driving up now. In at the rail from in third is Arts Temptress. Gapping out a bit from fourth at the inside is Western Galley. To the outside of her in fifth is Bolero Toki. 3/4 time in 1:24 3, and Gingras leads it by a length. Darlin's Delight brings her lead into deep stretch. Back into the pocket pocket spot. Sears put My Little Dragon back on Gingras' helmet to braven her up, and apparently it's worked. Here comes My Little Dragon on the outside. My Little Dragon, Darlin's Delight, two great fillies putting on a fantastic stretch display, and it's My Little Dragon. Brian Sears prevails with My Little Dragon as she has won back-to-back crowns. The mile tonight, 152 3/5. Talk about a winning move. Sears had the opportunity to put her back in the helmet. He did, and when he popped her back off the helmet, she was energized.
Exactly why Brian Sears has quickly become one of the premier drivers in the sport. That indeed was the winning move, Kenny. Needed every inch of the racetrack to get there, and it's back-to-back Breeders' Crowns for My Little Dragon.
Back-to-back Breeders' Crown races from My Little Dragon. Noel Daly training and Brian Sears in the bike. And right after the race, Ron, you said to me he won that race halfway down the lane.
Yeah, I think when he tucked his filly back in behind, give her a little breather, kind of build up her confidence again, then when he comes, she comes strong.
Boy, did she ever. Stops the clock in 52 3, so that's 11 wins. She'd already made $1 million before she came into this race, and now she's got about 1.5 beside her name, or about 1.3. Mike?
Well, we can tell you that this is the same result as last year in the 2-year-old filly pace division, as My Little Dragon takes down Darlin's Delight to steal the show. And here is that heads-up steer from Brian Sears around the last turn. That's him in the uncovered first over position. The winner is too wide, moving halfway around the last turn. They're coming up to the three-quarter pole right now. Yannick Gingras and Darlin's Delight have cleared to the front. Now watch what Sears does right there. Rather than keep on trucking, he decides to tuck back in second. That's the point that Ken Middleton picked up in his post-race analysis, and that was the winning move. It just gave him enough time to get brave, come out in the lane, and when he tipped off a helmet, he had the freshest horse and came through for the winning effort. Congratulations to Brian Sears in the winning drive.
And we've got the winning connections here. We'll begin with Brian Sears. And Brian, we made a lot about that move on the last turn, and how key was it to eventually getting it done?
It was big to drop back in, going into that headwind down the stretch, and really braving her up. And she loves to go by horses, so she got it done.
Very consistent filly. She's a big, strong filly. Did that help her tonight when she had to move head-on into that headwind in the stretch?
Yeah, she's a big, strong filly, gets over the ground real good, and she's had a really, really good year, and she just proved it tonight.
Congratulations. Noel Daly, the winning conditioner, back-to-back crown titles. How special is that? Not many are able to accomplish it.
No, she deserved it, but she's had a up and down year, but she's never been worse than second. The last few starts since we put her on Lasix, she's really picked up a game, and she deserved to win tonight, I think.
Yeah, she never seems to have a bad week. Is that just part of her makeup?
Yeah, no, she tries very hard, and I say once we put her on Lasix, she's been very sharp, and it really came down to those two fillies, I think, to see who was the best one. I think we proved we're just a little better than the other filly. She's a great filly, the other filly, but dropping in halfway down the lane, that did help her, I'm sure, tonight with that funny track.
And finally, much left on her calendar this year?
No. Maybe supplement to the matron. She's actually eligible to the races at Yonkers and another one at the Messenger, but they're both on halves. I don't know if we'll go to them. I don't know if Yonkers is racing. We'll have to wait and see.
Congratulations, Noel.
Thank you.
Noel Daly, the winning trainer, Brian Sears, the winning driver, and it is back-to-back Breeders' Crown Championships for My Little Dragon.
Here's the final order of finish if you're marking a program with something like that: 682-514-1097 with 3 on the bottom. 152 3. It's 2/5 of a second slower than what she won the event last year as a 2-year-old in. The check goes to My Little Dragon. Race 7 completes the 3-year-old filly pace